Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. In this video, we are going to discuss about three basic tenets of faith. Because when you set yourself on the spiritual journey, you need to know certain things that you have to hang on in order to evolve without big danger. And the first thing that you have to learn to strengthen your faith is gratitude. To be grateful. To be grateful means that you have to be content with what you are. You know from general wisdom that the richest man is not the man who has everything, but is the one who is content with what he has. And you know from the story of enlightened beings that the Buddha, for example, who was a prince, left the palace and went and lived outside and spent a while to see people suffering, seeing a sick man, an old man, and a dead body, in order to look for the real meaning, what we really need in this world to exist in a playful way. And that is where he got enlightened, meaning that all the goods that he had in the palace were not necessary, because he has to be grateful of the life that the Creator has given him. He had to be grateful of what he had, and that is the basic way of understanding your spirituality and understanding your religion, and it is the basic way of becoming a good Muslim. When you are grateful, you can know much better what contribution you can bring to the society, to your community, or wherever you find yourself, to your family or whatever, because when you are grateful, you can discover what you have in you and know how to value it. The second tenet of a strong and good faith is to be patient. We are living in a society where people want instant gratification, and everybody wants wealth and power, and wealth and power is being presented to everyone as what you have to look for. You have to push your happiness through wealth and power. But we don't have anything against wealth and power, because you can use money to solve some worldly problems. But most of the time, if you go in depth, you will find that most of the problem that you are trying to solve with wealth are being created by those who push you to look for wealth to solve the problem. So if you are patient, you can resist temptation and resist the problems that are artificially created, because the more you can endure hardship in dignity, the more you will gain the knowledge that is necessary for you to come close to God. You cannot gain knowledge directly in books. Books can inspire you to look for the way to God. But when you practice the right wisdom in the right way, when you read the Quran, for example, and practice what is being taught in it, and practice some of the ways of the Prophet, practice some of the ways of the Sunnah. There is a way of doing anything in the Sunnah. The Prophet taught people how he was doing before he goes out, even before he had a relationship with his wives, even before he ate, before he did everything. There are ways of doing the things in the perfect way that is suitable with the will of God. And he who is patient will never accept the fake solutions to his problems that are being presented by people who might not really want to harm him, but are also under a certain influence. So you will know how to identify Satan by being patient. So patience is necessary, and there is no faith without patience. Because what is faith? Faith means that you have to follow the commandments of God, that is, do what God recommends and give up what He forbids. And to give up what God is forbidding, you have to be patient. You have to say, okay, I don't need this now. I will try to get it in the way of God. And to follow the commandments of God, you have to be patient to dominate your instant emotions and desires that might push you to do something that is forbidden. So this is why we say that patience is necessary if you want to have faith. The third tenet is tolerance. We have been studying tolerance in many ways, because when you live in a society as a foreigner, broadly speaking, there is no such thing as a foreigner, because migrations have always been. But there is no society that you can create without creating a kind of identity, which is not really necessary. But without any identity, a group cannot cope together. But there are forms of acceptance of various identities in a group to make people cooperate, and everybody contributes in his way. And if you look in the charts of Medina, when the Prophet settled the societies of the Muslim after the number of Muslims increased, he permitted the Jews to live, because most of them were the traders. The Christians, Arabian Christians and pagans, were also living together, all together. So everybody was living in a society and bringing his own contribution. If you want to know much about God, you have to be tolerant, because everything goes with another thing. That is, the sinners inspired the believers, and the believer is inspired the sinners, because from the sinners you can learn the consequences of sin, and from the believers the sinners can learn the consequences of faith. So, and now from a Muslim, a Christian can learn what a Muslim does not know, and a Muslim can learn from a Christian certain weaknesses that he has, and people can learn from the Jews some advantages, and so on. God is the creator of all of us, and if you are not tolerant, you cannot improve on your faith and come close to God. Because at the end, we are all the creations of God. The best way to do this is to practice Islam properly and know that there is no deity but God, and try to do what is recommended by God, and find out what is also acceptable from the other communities. Assalamu alaikum.